AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from downtown Baton Rouge.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. It's 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Thank you. Yep. All right, we do it every week. We catch up with Sean Salisbury, Sports Talk 790 in Houston. Also Unpaved on YouTube weekdays at noon Central. Make sure you're subscribed there on the channel. Get him on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Sean, we appreciate you, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good to be on with you, Matt.
Always our pleasure. Man, I want to get into some Saints and NFL in the next segment, but I'd be remiss if we didn't start with what Brian Kelly told us on Monday. Garrett Nussmeier, a torso injury. Sean, having played the position, I think I want to lean into you here. And I did ask Brian Kelly after the press conference why Nussmeier wasn't on the injury report, and he said, you only have to list him on the injury report if he doesn't practice or is limited. So if someone is practicing, is not limited, and is playing in the game, how big of a deal really is this?
A big of a deal for Nussmeier or for just the whole protocol injuries?
No, yeah, I'm sorry. For Nussmeier, right? As a quarterback who's got something, right? Torso, we've heard oblique. But if it's not even limiting him at practice, according to the head coach, what could he be working through here?
Well, I guess the best way to describe it, aside from the torso for that position, the lower half, obviously, for the leg drive, whether it's a baseball hitter, a golfer, all those things that we know how athletic you have. I mean, everybody in sports has got the lower half. But the torso and the rotation for a quarterback is everything. The question is what his threshold of pain is. Now, can you hurt it worse? I don't know what the doctors are saying about that, Matty, but if you can't hurt it worse, it's just a threshold of pain thing with the torso. So if you're practicing going through it and you were judging his performance by, what we see, and he wasn't on the injury report, and you set and go out there and say, okay, well, is he the same guy or is something going wrong? And, it seems odd that I don't even know, Matt, did you even know? I didn't know there was a problem going into this game about him at all. What was your guys on your guys' end?
So we've first heard about this we talked about it the Saturday before the Clemson game. Because he did that part, a
little upset, right?
Yeah, he didn't throw a pass in that practice, which was open to the media. Brian Kelly said it was a pitch count. I was told oblique, asked a bunch of people, was told it's a total non-thing. But now here we are after week 3, and Brian Kelly saying he's been dealing with a little thing. So that's where it's trying to navigate what exactly, how much could this actually be limiting him?
Yeah, and the thing is it's probably one of those things, as close to load management as you can get practice-wise, but making sure that it's not, impeding his ability to rotate because, if we were in a big studio and you could say, just the upper body rotation and the leg drive that you have is the lower half, but the torso for a quarterback, because it'd be like taking your biggest swing, Matty, in a golf course, and after you hit the ball, just stopping. Like brakes and gas, but the brakes are usually going to win. So the ability to rotate your torso, to me, if he says it's a minor thing and they're on a pitch count, and the pitch count's not for his arm but for his torso, it tells me it's one of those things that they're not going to hurt worse by the rotation. I'm just going from in past and my vantage point. but it is a simple, what's the threshold of pain on the finish and on the rotation, and what part of the rotation? Is it the beginning of the rotation on the when he fires the right side as a right-hander, or is it the end of the rotation on the finish? And it can have a major effect on the result of the football and the accuracy, especially if you're babying it as a quarterback. You got to let it rip and let it go, because it can affect extension. It can also affect like I said, the initial the up and out release. And then all of a sudden what happens, if it was a long time, one of those that nagged you a while, what ends up happening is you start to, your mechanics start to change a little bit, because you're trying to overcompensate for the torso. So how can you get around the pain free? So really, if that's how they're describing it, that it's not a major, like you said the Friday before, if it's not anything major, it's a minor thing, that it's a pitch count just because of the threshold of pain, then that will come down to Nuss being able to deal with it. And let's hope it doesn't last. But the pitch count on the practice field, I would think, is the ability to make sure that he's closer to full health when he's playing on Saturdays.
Do you think, and Brian Kelly's not indicated in any way that they would sit him, but what he said was that he won't be probably 100%. They shut him down in the bye week. So they play Southeastern, then Ole Miss, then they have a bye week. So they'll shut him down in the bye week, and then he should be 100%. Would you play him against Southeastern this week?
No, if I got to wait, I wouldn't, because there's that game called, you said it's Ole Miss, right, in between the two?
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I there's part of me that wish that when Nuss was sitting here with you and I'd say, okay, we got to empty the bucket and tell the truth, and you can't protect. How's it affecting you? Well, I'm at about 75%. I'm just speaking as if I'm him. I don't know what the percentage is, and have him tell us, then we could judge more. But for me, the way they're playing defense and forcing turnovers. Now, you probably got a fist fight Nuss to keep him out of the lineup, because he's a competitive guy and wants to play.
Right.
But if you're looking at the big picture, if he put it this way, man, if he can still play at 90%, you know how this goes. Once football season starts, I don't know many guys in my career that played once the season started and felt 100%. And there is a difference. Injured is one thing, hurt is another. I expect to play hurt, and I expect people around me to play hurt, dealing with the threshold of pain. When you're injured, then we got to look deeper into it. People play hurt all the time. Sore hammy, play, get it ready, iced up. Quarterback, my shoulder's bothering me, iced up. Favre probably went through playing hurt 8 million times in his career, and probably a couple times injured. We had no business playing, but that's who he was. So I guess if I'm judging by percentage, how are you feeling? And right now, I'd probably say, Matt, can you get through practice 100%? And the answer right now is no. And I'm a guy that wants to play I hate load management and go and play. But if you can't get through practice, but we're playing Ole Miss this week, I'd say, I'm going to gut it out, because I'm missing this game. It's too important. It's an SEC game. But if I'm not practicing, and I'm not going to, the threshold of pain was so much that I want to be as close to 100% as I can versus Ole Miss. I don't see the reason other than his competitiveness to play it. You're not getting beat by them. Your team's playing great defense. You probably got to score, 3 touchdowns to win. They've got plenty of personnel that can do it. But I don't know his threshold of pain. If it's affecting him to the point where he is not 100%, this is a good time to rest him, to get him as close to 100% as Ole Miss. Then he comes out of that, not 100%. Then you get the bye week, and then you're 2 weeks, after Ole Miss to play. This seems like the time. This is the right time to do it if the threshold of pain or the percentages. Man, I'm 75%. Why risk not having the Ole Miss game as opposed to this? I'd want him rested and ready to go and as close to 100% as I could for Ole Miss. That seems more logical. If I possibly could, and I didn't think that he could get through this game, or he can't get through it healthy, I'm holding him out, and I don't normally subscribe to that, because I know what a competitor he is, and I wouldn't want to miss it either if I was him. It's still a game.
Okay, one more, and let's assume that what Brian Kelly has said is true, that Garrett Nuss, this thing is not in any way limiting the offense, that it's not limiting their play call, it's not limiting anything that they're doing, and that LSU is choosing to lean on their defense and field position. Kelly said there were 3 instances in the game where a year ago they would have been going for it on a 4th down. The analytics said go, but because he knew his defense was playing the way they punted this year. It's how they're choosing to play. Let's assume that's fair and accurate. Is what they are doing right now sustainable to the point where you can win a national championship with the style of ball they're playing right now?
No, because you're going to run into somebody who has the same type of defense. That's offense is more explosive. That's the simple explanation. Now, let me backtrack here for a second, but not backtrack, back up. If Brian tells us it's not limiting the offense, then why are we waiting till the bye week for him to be 100%? No matter what athlete it is, if I'm at 90% and I'm running the 100-meter dash at 90%, I'm not breaking the world record. I mean, 90% is still 90%. Mm-hmm. If I got 100% of my money, I got more than I had when I had 90% of it.
Right.
So it's kind of, we're talking out of both sides. Well, we want to get him, he'll be 100% coming out of the bye week. Well, it's not affecting our offense. Well, if it's not affecting your offense, one is why isn't everybody playing better, more explosive? But secondly, then why am I waiting till the bye week? If he's 100%, let's let it rip. Then we need to make some adjustments. But that's like I said, from a distance, that's the only way I could live. I mean, I guess they think 90% or whatever percentage he's at, even though he's not 100%, is not affecting the play calling. But is it affecting performance? And is it really affecting where you say, hey, man, let's get the lead, play close to the vest, make some necessary throws, keep him out of harm's way, and we'll be good. You're going to run into somebody, especially in that conference you guys play in, Matty. Sustainable defense, hell yes. Hell yes. And the commitment to running it and doing it. But what happens, it's such a slippery slope. And then the margin for error when you're playing in those type of games, old school Nick Saban play, right? Yeah. Play defense, run the football. And Matty, and I don't mean this, I'm not talking about Brian Kelly, but Nick Saban, defensive guys that I've from Luke Fickell, guys that I've known throughout the league and guys that coached on a staff I was on, defensive coordinators that are head coaches. Sans Brian Kelly because he's an offensive guy, but you know what they want to do? They want to win 17-13.
Yeah.
Now they love 40-13, but they love that grind and grit. We'll keep it close. We'll get a stop in the end, and we'll go down. We'll kick a field goal to win. They love that. There's something about that feeling of that feels more like I'm dominating my opponent as opposed to I got a lucky knockout at 45-10. That's not real football. People love it, but in this case. If you'd ask me, say, Sean, well, can we sustain playing this kind of defense in a different conference and scoring 22 a game or 20? Sure. But you're going to run into a Florida team who hung around a little bit, but at least early on. And then you just had the big play on the scramble. It was a huge play. But then he forced 5 turnovers against a pretty damn good quarterback. Well, what happens when you don't force 5 turnovers against a team who's fairly explosive along this way? It's not defense sustainable. We know their special teams will be fine. We know they got weapons and they'll commit to run. But you eventually run into it where your defense isn't getting the stops necessary. That maybe a 3rd down and 7, which they normally get the stop, they don't get it this time because the guy you're playing against, you want to go down the list of quarterbacks in the SEC and the depth of it or around the country that, okay, we can still – you're playing good defense, but at some point in time, you're going to run into somebody. You're going to miss a tackle. Guy's going to take a slant 75 yards for a touchdown. Now it's like, woo, what if we get into a shootout? Are we primed for it? So I think, Matty, for me, as good as LSU is, they're in this day and age of the way we're doing it and with the depth and the explosiveness around the country at that position and with the weapons there is, you're going to have to play it. There's another notch that they're going to have to play at if this is their philosophy. But they're still going to have to play it another notch offensively, and they're capable of it, and not rely on this whole time because that's carrying a burden around. That's like telling your starter in baseball or your front 2 guys or your middle of your lineup that if you guys don't hit 300 each of you and homer every other day, and we're not driving in runs in the first 5 of the order, and we're relying on 7, 8, 9, eventually 7, 8, 9 is going to be a problem. Yeah. And you can't have a 7, 8, and 9 as an offense in the SEC. You're going to have to score points. They're too good. The defense is sustainable, but you'll run into an offense that plays kind of defense you play, but exploded more. I expect more from LSU's offense, and you're going to have to get it, which means a healthy Nussmeier, and you're going to have to expand the bandwidth, which we know they're capable of. But I love the way they're playing defense, and 4th and 5 turnovers, you're going to beat everybody, regardless of who it is, if you can do that on defense.
Yeah, the next 2 weeks will certainly be very telling for this LSU offense, see if they're able to.
Absolutely.
Sean Salisbury is our guest. We're going to knock out a quick break. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. We're getting close to the holiday season. A lot of guys like to pop the question around Christmas time, be it radiant cut, emerald cut, cushion cut. They've got all the diamonds, the best selection there at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations from Baton Rouge to Lafayette to New Orleans to Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com. lmfj.com. A gorgeous selection of women's engagement rings. You can check them out online, or you can go see them at any of their stores. You can schedule that consultation online. Go to lmfj.com. When you show up, they'll greet you with something to drink, chocolates on a tray, and you'll feel the experience that they call the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Okay, y'all, it's After Further Review. We'll continue with Sean X. Got to get a thought on Spencer Rattler. Not making mistakes. He's not getting you beat, but he's capable of winning you games. I'll ask Sean next on AFR.
AFR.
Did it a couple of times last week. Let's do it again. Grab your phone. You want to find out how much your home's worth? Let's do it. Let's do it together. Agent225.com. Open up your browser on your phone. If you're at your desktop, just go to agent225.com. That's Darren James's website, the newly redesigned agent225.com. Right there on the homepage, you'll see it. It says home value. Tap home value, enter your address. As quickly as you can type your address, it'll pop up. And one of the reasons this tool is more powerful than things like a Zestimate. Like, when was the last time Zillow was in your home? You see, that's a national, broad picture. Darren's algorithm uses local market data from right here. It's going to give you a much more accurate picture of what your home is worth. Let's be honest. If you're trying to buy a home, you got to sell yours. So what's it worth? Find out at agent225.com. Just hit the home value tab right there on the homepage. You can do this in less than 30 seconds. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Plowing these fields in the hot summer sun. Over by the
I did some good things. I think, obviously, when you look back, you're going to see some missed opportunities, just like for all of us. We're going to miss opportunities in some critical situations, and there's only so many snaps in this game. We got to take advantage of them.
Kellen Moore, after the Saints' loss on Sunday, the 49ers, 26-21. Couple of possessions there in the final 4 minutes of the game. Couldn't go get the game-winning score. Sean Salisbury's with us on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Sports Talk 790 there in Houston. Mornings on the Sean Salisbury Show. And if you're not yet, subscribe to Unpaved on YouTube there, weekdays at noon Central. Make sure you get there and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Sean, you heard what Kellen Moore said there, and it's pretty simple. I mean, you look at PFF. Spencer Rattler was the highest-graded offensive player for the Saints, threw 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was efficient, but they're not winning games. So how do you start to reconcile what we're watching here with Rattler, where he's not costing you games, but he's not winning you games either?
Yeah, and I'm not comparing him, but that's going on in a few places right now. The Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence up and down, even Mahomes' offense. They look shoddy after 2 weeks. They do. They're not that talented. I know, and it's true. We always ask our quarterback, "Well, take care of your business and play at a high level and elevate everybody around you." I'm not sure the whole kit and caboodle of the offense is capable. I think Rattler's done enough to keep the starting job right now, Matty. I do. Okay. And really going in, what do we expect? You didn't expect much from them this year. That's no excuse. They'll go out and play average and don't close out games. But think about what's happened to them. They've been in position late in the game in both games to win and have not. So is that we're hanging around, it's a good sign, or is it we're hanging around, it's a good sign, but we're just not good enough to close it out, and this is who we are? That's one. He's been accurate. He's protected the football, but they've had drop passes. They've had 3rd and long miscues on drop passes. They've had penalties. They've had missed tackles. In both games, there's been situations where some kind of error with it, whether it's a mature team, and you heard Kellen talk about it, is there's always something in a game that either disrupts a drive or extends a drive for the opposing offense. And it's happened in both weeks. And, they got a backup quarterback, and Mac Jones came in and protected it and was accurate with the football. And he was on I got something to prove mission as well. So I don't think we're at the point yet where it's a guy who's been starting for 3 or 4 years. Remember, it's a whole new system and a whole new coach, a whole new play caller since Kellen Moore's doing that as well. And trying to figure out, okay, how are we doing this? Because, the sideways and getting completions, the explosives, where are they? Where are you going to get the 80-yard run at the catch? And they ran the ball pretty well. Kamara, they did. Yeah. Alvin ran it well. And so they did good things. But the question is it the quarterback holding them back? or is it the fact that they're just not right now good enough with their bandwidth to expand this and go? I think it's you still ride with Rattler. We went in and I said, man, 2-man competition. He won the job and he's kept it. The whole, but we're a results-oriented league, and potential is one thing, but if you don't get results into 6 weeks and you say, well, how do we light this fire and find a way to get it? And, if they make that decision, we're not ready for that yet. I think he's done a nice job. I do. I also think that they have to get out that Kellen Moore needs to get comfortable, even making them uncomfortable where, okay, this is what we're capable of, but sometimes we're going to have to attack a different way, and they may have to do that. You may have to come out, run it more protected, kind of like LSU's playing, and hope your defense gets stops. Or on the other side of it, Matty, where you come out and say, you know what, we're going to have to think outside the box formationally and movement and do some different things to create mismatches so we have more spacing so we can do something with the ball after the catch, or so he makes the throw. But it's not just one thing. It's a different position, and it's a different grouping of people that each game they're choosing the wrong time. And unfortunately for them, they're not talented enough as a roster to overcome that. Josh Allen's team, they can miss a few and have, oh, man, we had 10 penalties in this game. Well, Superman's playing, and he'll find a way to get in his blue and red suit and make it happen. They're not capable of that because they just talent level, but they just don't have as many players. And that's not to say that a certain group of them, but right now there's some good parts, but the sum is just not the same. So is it Rattler that's holding them back from closing? I don't think so. I think there's more, and it's a grouping of them, and they're coming at the wrong time because they have had a chance in both games to close it out, and they haven't been able to. And I know both at home it's frustrating, but I'll be honest with you, man. I think they're actually playing better football for a good portion of the game than I expected them to play so far in 2025. But it all comes down to this. I'd rather have them play ugly and find a way to close it out than hang around but just miss that throw. Drop that ball on 3rd and long to extend the drive. Miss that tackle on 4th and 3 or 3rd and 5 where you miss a tackle for a 2-yard gain and they get in and they extend a drive. So that'll reveal itself as you go on further to say, okay, where is the biggest glaring weakness? Right now, it's a glaring weakness on focus and just being able to do the right thing at the right time as opposed to hitting solo home runs when you're down 9-3 and you make it 9-5. Man, it was close, but they've made it even closer. Hell, they've got within a run at the end, literally in baseball terms, but just haven't been able to push it across when they've had a chance. So I'm still riding with Rattler right now because I think in the losses, he's still gaining confidence, but they're going to have to expand the way they approach it offensively. And Kellen Moore knows how to do that. He's been in some high-powered offenses.
You said so. You said something or alluded to it that I think is interesting. Like when you got to be able to finish. I mean, look, the average margin in an NFL game is like 3.5 points, right? I mean, it's hard to win in the NFL. So I'm wondering, Sean, like maybe this is where I'd have to ask you about like the psychology of a locker room. San Francisco is playing a backup quarterback. But that's a team that's used to winning football games. So in the final 4 minutes, when the Saints had 2 possessions, I don't think anybody on that San Francisco defense thought for a millisecond they were going to lose that game. Flip side of it is, I don't know that anybody on the Saints team, I mean, Sean, for all we thought of Peyton and Breeze, like, it's been 5 years. I mean, the Saints have missed the playoffs 4 straight years. Last time they made the playoffs was the COVID year. Like, nobody on this team, nobody on this team is used to winning. So, how much, I mean, take me inside of a locker room with the psychology of, like, expecting to win and building I know we throw in the cliche like a winning culture, but it's hard for me to dismiss that, man, when you have these opportunities late in game and you go 3 and out and then you strip sack, fumble, and game over on 2 possessions in the final 4 minutes.
Been fortunate to be on really good teams that knew how to win and been on teams that weren't sure how. And they're both contagious. That's a fact, Matty. It just is. And I've spent a lot of time discussing the psychology of this, and I've been on teams and I'm guilty of it on a team. When you're a couple injuries, your team wasn't as good as you expected it to be, and then it's late, and you're standing on the sidelines waiting for your possession, and you're thinking to yourself, please don't let us find a way to lose this game. I'm just and anybody that tells you that, well, no, man, every time I go out, I know we're winning. No, Scotty Scheffler expects to win.
Yeah.
When you're playing against an opponent, they're hoping to beat you. I even heard one this weekend in a tournament say, I just wish Scotty Scheffler wasn't here because it gives the world a better chance. Yeah. And they feel like when he's playing well, you're playing for second place and damn near are. But you are 100%. The culture in there, you're looking for reasons, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't care what anybody says, whether you call it karma in life or self-fulfilling. I've been on teams where it's been, and then there's the opposite. Okay, we're struggling. They will get a stop, and we will find a way. And I know it's cheesy because you can't just, it's not, I mean, you may play the Powerball numbers, but you don't get to win them unless you're fortunate enough to win them. Right. Same thing here. But you've got to put yourself in position to do it. And that goes with the practice week. Matty, put it this way. If your culture is, or your thought process is, we'll turn it on game day, this is where we turn it around. You're late to the party. It's got to be that. Here's how the Texans, just to localize it here as well. Yep. They're going through that. They don't know how to win right now. Yep. And they're getting to a point. They've been inside the red zone with a chance to win 2 games and haven't got a stop with a great defense and can't close it out with an offense. So they're questioning themselves. Yet they've had back-to-back division titles. So you're right. And absolutely. And it's then at 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 veterans, man, we win here. Breeze is here. Kamara's here. Michael, those, and it's like, no. The option isn't hopefully we'll win. The option is give me the ball last. We're going to go win. And when you do it, I asked Elway this years ago if I got a second to share this with you, Matty.
Please,
hopefully.
Absolutely.
And I'll hurry. I asked him, John and I were at his golf event years ago, and we were sitting and having a beer. And I don't know if I've ever told you the story. And I literally asked him, and this isn't just the quarterback, but for him, because, Matty, you remember it was at the time when he'd had like 40 comebacks, right? And here I am, I'm a quarterback, and John's my buddy, and he's always, I've been able to play against him twice and beat him, but I wasn't Elway. But I always said, well, John, what is it that you can be playing an average game statistically? And I said, I want to know why that when there's a minute 30 to go and it's been one of those games, why do you always respond, you and your team? What is it? And I'm thinking I'm going to get a scientific answer. Well, Sean, we worked on this on Tuesday, and he said this, and it was this simple, man. And I'm telling you, damn near to the verbiage verbatim. He said, well, Sean, I remember it happened one time, and everybody's excited, and then it happened a second time. He goes, and the third time came around, we got in a huddle. They just expected it. We just expected that we were going to go down, including him, and I expected we're going to win. And I know that sounds so too easy, but he was talented players around him. But it got to the point where when they were on the sidelines, they weren't saying, please, I hope John pulls this off. They were on the sidelines saying, can't wait till John gets the ball and our offense pulls this off. And that was his simple explanation. I'm saying, John, that easy? I wish it was that easy for the rest of us, right? I was playing against him in Denver. I ended up being the player of the week. It's not a pat on the back, but I knew I was up against it. We came from behind. We're beating them in their building. And all of a sudden, they get the ball back with about a minute 30 to go. And Matty, I'm telling you, he's driving down again. And I'm like, I looked at him, I'm saying, you got to be kidding me. We came from behind. I'm getting to beat Elway in his own game in Denver. Don't let this happen. It was a snowstorm. It was crazy. It was a great game. And John's taking him down. And I look, I said, no, not today. Not today. And I expected him against our great defense. We had Millard. We had Chris Dolman. Yeah. We had John Randall. We had 6 Hall of Famers. And goes down there. He's taking him down. They cross midfield. He throws a little option route to Glenn Milburn. One of our linebackers hits him, lays it on the ground. We recover. After I passed out on the sidelines, I got to go in and kneel down. But that's what they got. And the Saints are a ways away from getting that. But the culture is built by doing it, not by talking about it. And it starts on a practice field. Like I said, if you're on Saturday thinking about it and haven't worked on it Monday through Friday, you're in trouble. But when you get there, and then when it happens once and it happens twice. Last night, I'm telling you, when Baker Mayfield got the ball back, I said to myself, the Texans are in trouble.
Yep.
And he will, and it is. And then there's teams, and you look at it and say, they've gotten no shot right now. So whether they're thinking it or not, the practice it and play. What happens is you have it like anything else, Matty. Anything you do or I do, you start doing it well and repeating it. The people around you say, well, he's going to get it done again. Hell, they expect great radio and great when you're on. They just do because they've seen it a million times. Same thing there. And they've got to get to that. But the only way they get to it is by winning those close ones and changing that narrative and shifting those paradigms as opposed to letting this keep happening. Because the more you keep losing close ones, the more it will build up, say, here we go again. It happens all the time.
Matt, I could listen to you talk forever. We got to run. I appreciate
You're the only one, but thanks, brother.
That's a factual inaccuracy right there. Sean Salisbury, get him on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Hey, man, we'll do it again next week. Thank you.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Always a pleasure to be on with you.
Thanks, man. We'll see you next week. Sean Salisbury, great stuff as always, man. We appreciate so much Sean giving us 30 minutes of his time every week, man. I always learn something. That's That's a powerful statement when you say, I listen to them, I always learn something. Hey, we're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. We had our marketing meeting over at the Parish office. Even still, it's been so long. I think there's probably still some people who don't know, but I'm always into candor and disclosure. And, I'm a partner at Parish. I'm an equity partner in Parish Construction and Roofing. So when I say, me and Terrio and Tilly and Joe Morales and our whole crew, talking about a company that I'm an owner in. So if we could ever help you, I'd love to. You can. People text me all the time on the show text line. Scone, I need a roof inspection. Yeah, text me. I'd be more than happy to facilitate setting that up. Or you can always just go to our website, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. We do residential, commercial, repairs, replacements. We do your gutters. We fabricate our own metal. We have a great soft wash crew as well. I mean, if you just got some grime on your roof, just getting that thing soft washed twice a year will help extend the life of your roof and beautify it and do the whole exterior of your home. Let us help you out. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. All right, it's After Further Review. We are glad to have you hanging out with us here. I got a quick break. Otter will be here in about a dozen minutes for Otter Locks. We'll move quick. Went a little long with Sean, but it's great stuff. I don't mind that we did. Well, now I got a break, and we'll continue here on a Tuesday edition of AFR Powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
AFR.
Hey, man, many thanks again to Gordon McKernan, who hung out in studio with us yesterday for 30 minutes. You want to talk about learning something. This guy's built a gigantic business and then is still so kind and generous and philanthropic, not only with all the different ways through Gordon gives back to the communities. We tell you all the time, the holidays are coming. He'll do the bike giveaway. Around graduation season, always does the laptop giveaway. Just so many different ways that Gordon's give back to the community. My son plays Miracle League. It's a special needs baseball league. And, of course, you go and on the outfield wall, there's a Gordon sign. He sponsors that. I'm fortunate enough to MC the Down Syndrome Awareness Group, Buddy Walk, every spring. Gordon always has a tent and tables and giveaways as a sponsor over there. Just so community involved. Gordon, yes, if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. They'll help you get what you deserve, but they give back to the community as well. That's why it's great to be partnered with them. So tell you every day, go to getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Cold jug of sweet tea. I make a little room and she climbs on up. Open up a throttle and
Rolling through our Tuesday edition of AFR. I realized I screwed something up, Muse. I think I screwed it up. Or maybe I just properly screwed it up. From Football Sunday.
Properly screwed it up.
So one of Andy Isco's plays on the website, Louisiana Sports Center, gave the over last night's game. What?
I'll go on.
But I said on air yesterday the under, and I played the under.
Oh, no, I think you said the over because I played the over.
I played the under.
I think you just played the under by mistake, but you said the over because I missed Football Sunday.
Maybe I was looking at the website.
Yeah.
And I got it incorrect. Or maybe I just made a good error.
I think you just made a good error because I missed Football Sunday this week. So I didn't know Andy's play. And when you said the over, I went and bet it.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is I might have mistakenly written the over on the website. And so when Jimmy was on, I was going through the picks. I was like, it says over. And because I made the play
on Sunday.
I think I just wrote the wrong thing on the website.
So this is your fault last night that I didn't hit the over.
Now, I'll tell you what, I'm also really ticked at Baker Mayfield and that Houston defense.
Me too.
Because I'd had a 3-1 night. I was staring down the barrel of a pretty good night last night. Instead, when it ended up being 2-2, the Phillies hit.
Phillies did
last
hit.
night.
Yep, had that.
Phillies Otter, I'll tell you what, man.
Baseball Otter this year, man. It's not over. But
a guy texted me on the text line earlier today. Is like, just me or is Otter just blowing it lately? I'm like, I think we're doing okay. I'm up. You up? We good?
It didn't sound like that guy was up.
No.
I was saying, it doesn't sound like that guy was up.
But the thing I'll tell you with Football Sunday is you just got to be consistent.
Yeah.
Like it's a thing where, there's 20 some odd or more than that plays on a Sunday. So there's things I look for. Like if there's disagreement, like if these two different, I don't know what you do, but like if two people pick opposite sides, then I just abstain. If you have like 3 or 4 people that are all giving the same play, then I hammer that bet. And you just learn those sorts of things. But if you're consistent over the course of the year and you make all of their plays, you're going to win. I mean, they're consistently over a 17, now 18-week NFL season, they're up like 30, 40, 50 games over the course of the season over the last 3-4 years. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. You're just getting professional bettors. These do that. This is how they make their money. This is what they do professionally. And they're giving you their best bets for the week. Just giving them out on the air. It's a remarkable thing.
I mean, and also, like, it's been 2 weeks. Like, we're all still learning about these teams. Like, they're going to start hitting at a pretty impressive clip when they get a good sample size. You have to be consistent.
You can't say, "Oh, I'm gonna play some of them this week, and the next week I won't play." You just, it's like time in the market. That's what they always say. You can't time the market. You got to be in the market all the time. You can't try to jump in. It's like double dutch. Eventually, you're gonna just jump in. You're gonna hit that rope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just got to get in, Muse. You can't keep jumping in, unless you're like a jump rope champion.
Then yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
Then you could do that. Yeah. Did we miss anything today? I feel like we're missing something today. LSU player interviews tonight?
Tonight.
Yeah.
In 2 minutes.
I wonder if they're, I doubt they will. I wonder if they're going to let Garrett talk to reporters tonight. I hope they do. I'd be fascinated to know from him. And he did not, by the way, Garrett did not speak to reporters after the game on Saturday. And I will be fascinated to hear from him what he's dealing with. This whole torso injury, it's just a little perplexing for me. Because we've heard about this thing now for weeks. I've asked about it, insisted it's a nothing. It's something that warranted mention, but it's not significant enough that he's on the injury report, meaning he's practicing fully. Brian Kelly's saying it's not limiting their play call in any way, but the offense is scuffling. I look back to the play against Tech, the Berrien Brown interception, and that's the one where I would say, I think last Monday when we talked about that game, I said he could make that throw in his sleep 100 times out of 100. I mean, Berrien Brown was open by 5 yards down the left sideline, and Nuss underthrew him by 5 yards. I don't know.
You know, it's interesting because the one that sticks out really to me is the play against Clemson where he's rolling to the near side, contorts his body, throws back across, and hits Kyle Parker. It's like, man.
Oh, the Kyle Parker blow. Yeah.
If you had something that's really hampering you in your upper body to rotate that way and fire that fiercely back across your body, that's one of those things where, and maybe the adrenaline's just going there. I don't know, but like it's one of those moments where it's like, feels like if your torso was really bothering you, that wouldn't have happened.
Are you managing to get ready for Saturday? You give it a go Saturday, and you spend the rest of the weekend around. That's why I would love for him to answer it. I don't know that we'll get he's not going to go the rest of the season without talking to the media, but I would be interested to see what he says. We'll see if he's out there. Usually they bring out 4 players to speak to reporters. That'll be tonight. Actually, right 5:45 is what it's scheduled. I wish I could go to player interviews. It's just they do it at 5:45 when I'm on air, and so I can never make it out there for this. But Hunt will be out there. Chris Marlowe will be out there, and we'll get you the latest from the LSU players who are meeting with the media right now. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Of course, I love telling you about First South Farm Credit, mostly because of how they deal with people. And it's been for more than 100 years. And I know my thought was, if I wanted to buy land, why wouldn't I just go to the bank or whoever my normal lender is? Well, because buying land is different than buying a home. It's just that whole process. So why not trust the people that have done one thing for more than 100 years? First South Farm Credit since 1916 has helped Louisianians buy land. That's what they do. So if you want to explore that rural lifestyle, maybe you live in New Orleans, but you want to work in New Orleans, live on the North Shore, you could have the rural lifestyle while working in the city. First South Farm Credit can help you do that. They got an office in Amite. So you're in Tangipahoa, you want to live there, they got an office there. It's First South Farm Credit. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. That's FirstSouthLand.com. I did mention that earlier. We bypassed it because there was just a good conversation about what was going on with the LSU offensive line. Kellen Moore and the Saints are back on the practice field. Tuesday's the off day in the NFL, so they're back on the practice field Wednesday. We'll get the first injury report. Is this the week that Chase Young and Trevor Penning finally get out there? But they are going to hit the road for the first time. They got to go to Seattle, which is one of the toughest road environments in the NFL. It's something Kellen Moore talked about when he met with reporters.
Yeah, the speakers will be loud. Freddie will have those speakers nice and loud, and so we just got to invest some time into it and educate ourselves. We haven't had a ton of that. Our only road preseason game was in LA, and it was a preseason game. It was a pretty neutral crowd, and so it'll be a great opportunity for our guys to spend some time on it.
A neutral crowd, and it was LA, which is always a neutral crowd, or the visitors have a home crowd, especially if it's San Francisco playing there in a playoff game. All right, it's after further review. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Let's knock out a final break, come back. We'll get to Otter Locks. They're posted up right now at louisianasports.net if you want Otter Locks. Remember, you can always get those there around 3 o'clock Central Time. You get Otter Locks posted daily at louisianasports.net. But Jimmy will be with us to give us an MLB 5-pack. Let's go. We'll wrap up next on AFR.
AFR. After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks. Hit it, Buse.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Doing good, Matt. Sorry about the football losers last night, but we did have a baseball winner, but still ended up 3-2 for Friday's college picks and 3-2 on football Sunday.
Let's go, man.
Had a chance for a big one, big 4 in 1 week, but the last drive had down to 4th and 10.
Damn Baker Mayfield, I'll tell you what, man. Hey, real
playing
quick,
good ball, man. Playing good ball.
We got a couple of minutes, but I want to jump into tonight because I know one of your plays was the Cubs on the money line.
Right.
It's already 2-0. They've gotten the Skeens early here in the top of the first.
Yeah.
So we're not obviously going to be Cubs money line anymore. But is there any value with the Pirates plus 2.5 or a Pirates money line sprinkle at plus 202? Anything that's value in this game?
No. The reason this is the first time I picked against Skeens all year, and the reason is late in the season they have gone back to his limited pitch count.
Okay.
So I mean he's going like 5 innings. So but the lines are close to what they were for the game beforehand. So that's why. I mean, I was trying to keep it close. Now that they're up, the Cubs are hot. Also, they're playing for the playoffs. They're in the playoffs safely. They're trying to chase the Brewers for that division. They got some work to do. But no, I would not advise that right now.
Okay.
So Horton's really pitched well for the Cubs. But I did want to explain that. That's why I picked against Skeens for the first time this year. So didn't even count on getting 2 runs, that one. Also going with Detroit and Cleveland. The Cleveland pitcher that starts tonight. No score here, bottom of the first inning.
By the way, there's a DraftKings 33% profit boost right now on a baseball bet if you want to use that on any of these.
On anything?
On baseball, on MLB tonight.
Yeah, okay.
Use it.
And so, yeah.
1 minute remaining.
Dang, I know that's my fault. I got you caught up on the Cubs. It's my fault.
All right, Angels and Brewers. Brewers have been great. We've been back, but that line is way out of whack tonight. Peralta got rocked last time. He had been very tough. But that's just too big of a price. Plus 222. You boost that one, you could be really in business on that one. Also later tonight, Miami, Yuri Perez, he's been outstanding against Freeland on the road. We're laying the 1.5, so we get plus money in that one. And
that was it. The Cubs was the 5th one. That's it. Guardians, White Sox, Angels, all on the money line. And Cubs were abstaining right now. And then Marlins on the run line, 1.5.
Yeah, I didn't give it out the White Sox. So I'm glad you brought that up. So White Sox is 5 total plays. You get them at louisianasports.net.
Where are you tomorrow?
Snow Seafood Steak in Gonzales.
All right, Otter. Thank you. Good luck.
Good luck.
All right. That'll do it for us. Muse Pauly, thanks. Have a great night. See you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
Get on down the road. Remind you about the Williamson Eye Center. By the way, Otter, is a Williamson Eye Center patient a few years back, had that custom lens replacement. Look, I love my guy, but I used to laugh at him. We'd go to SEC Media Days. We'd go to Bistro Nico in Atlanta. He'd order the coq au vin. As a French restaurant, I was like, Otter, you got this. If you don't know, Otter's a total foodie, which is amazing. I love that about him. But like, he's bringing me to a French restaurant in Atlanta, talk all the anyway. But he's sitting there with the glasses on the end of his nose, the flashlight on his phone to look at the menu. You know it, right? You maybe that's you. Not no more. Otter went to Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center, got his custom lens replacement. 7 years ago, went and had LASIK with Dr. Blake Williamson. Paulie had LASIK over at the Williamson Eye Center. No matter your age or your refractive issue, you want to get rid of the contacts and glasses forever, Dr. Blake Williamson can help. 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com.